Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm your girl R.S. Lewis, aka Insomniac Writer, and I am here to talk about Melissa Berrera. Baby girl done got fired from Scream. So apparently she's anti-Semitic, and I was like, what? I figured, what other way to bring back fucktivity in the news and social media than to talk about some shit I saw on social media and the news? I don't think she should have been fired. A lot of people have been catching hell over not so much even siding with the Palestinians, but just even asking a question. Far right conservative Candace Owens, even she got flack from the people at the Daily Wire, where she is a part of. People like Sean King and different other people online talk about it, using their platform, have problems with engagements, get posts taken down, get hit with content, community violations, just for saying things or showing what's happening on the other side. And this has been the first time I've actually vocalized it, outside from a few comments and things that I've said to friends. Like, you know, I was very vocal about how I felt about the vaccine. Like when COVID vaccine came out, I was like worried, but that didn't mean that I didn't take health seriously, because my mother, when she moved in with me a few years before COVID, I knew that she had autoimmune disease, and I knew that, okay, Mom Deuce got to be safe. I got into the Dr. Sebi lifestyle somewhat. I kind of fell off. I ain't even going front. But I started doing healthy stuff, started getting all holistic, which is what spawned the whole love yourself wellness thing. But anyway, the point was, I did what I could do on the natural side of things. I said, I'm going to follow the science of nature. I've caught so much flack for it. I was called an anti-vaxxer, and all these things that I was called. I was ostracized. I guess that's the word. Like, I was cast aside, like I was a leper. When that vaccine came out, I have never, ever in my life felt so alone. And this was amongst people that I was cool with, whether I knew them in real life or not. And I was like, damn, it's like that? Like, really? Y'all know I've been doing the health stuff. So anyway, point is, back to this. With the whole Palestine and Israeli conflict, you couldn't say anything about, oh, you're anti-Semitic. I'm like, I'm a Jew. Well, you are a traitor to your, this, that, and the third. You're not a real Jew. You're a fake Jew. Like, I've had other fellow Jews say some very mean things to me. This was before the whole conflict. I had one lady ask me, why did I have the shield on? Like, why did I have the Star and David on? And I was like, okay, and this was 5 years ago. So this was pre-pandemic. This was pre-everything. Melissa Berrera being fired, she's the lead. Neve Campbell was let go. It's like Sydney, she was the main character. She was the main final girl. This whole story was centered around her, and then they didn't want to pay her, so she dipped. Matthew Lillard stood behind her. A lot of other people stood behind her because she's a good actress, and she was believable as Sydney. You saw her go from this weak final girl to the strong badass chick. Give that girl her coins. That's like them firing Ripley before, like, Alien Resurrection came out or something like that. I know that was like the third or fourth one, but still, y'all know what I'm saying. Or the Halloween franchise getting rid of Laurie. And then when you notice what happened when they didn't have them with her, they suffered. Now, Scream, on the other hand, did good without Sydney, but people were very apprehensive without her being in it, because the last one, not the New York one, but one before that, she wasn't the main one. People was like, y'all had her in the background. And then the one in New York came out, surprisingly, was good. Maybe because I had my hopes so low. And then, Melissa Berrera, her acting chops got a little bit better in the movie, but I was like, dang. But back to this, like, I've seen some of the posts. Like, I followed her. I followed a lot of the Scream cast anyway, from the OG Scream cast to the newer ones. And I was just like, that's not right. Like, you can't ask a question. You can't say nothing. Like, when things like this get to the point where people are too far on the left or too far on the right, and you start getting into that territory where I don't care what anybody believes, I'm right, you're wrong. Humans are inquisitive creatures. When you hear things happening, you always say, well, what caused it? Why did this person do what they're doing? Why did this group of people do what they were doing? This ain't 80s, 85, 80, whatever. When I was coming up, when people could say whatever they said about Russia and you took it at face value. Nowadays, information is sent within seconds. I got this information within an hour of her getting fired. We've seen that these conflicts have been escalating over the last few years. It didn't just start October 7th. I'm not going to get into the history and the politics of who was right and who was wrong. What I'm saying is that, the first line in the Geneva Convention, you ain't supposed to just kick people out this shit. And that's what happened. And then now these people now they beefing. Now we got a terrorist organization. But what creates terrorists? I'm not saying that IDF in Israel is wrong. I'm not saying that, I agree with Hamas, because I don't agree with any terrorist organization. But it gets to a point you have to ask a question. And I don't care if only 4 people see this. And what y'all going to cancel me? I'm not even popping like that. I've been telling my folks, I'm like, yeah, I'm coming to Israel. I'm going to come to Bona. I want to go to Jerusalem. I want to see, everything. I want to see history. I want to see that. I've been saying it for the last couple of years now, for at least damn near a decade. And then this happened. I was like, I don't think I want to go over there. I don't want to go nowhere near that area. And now it's just getting bad. It's just getting worse. And I was just afraid to even go. I'm already afraid to get on the plane to fly domestic. So with this being said, when it gets to a point when people can't question what they feel morally is wrong or sus, as the kids say, then you got to really, really start thinking, well, wait a minute. This ain't right. And then all of a sudden today I read in the news, now they're going to be in talks to exchange hostages. Because the world is not really just falling for what is being fed to them. And people here in the country, I can't speak for other countries, but here in the U.S., we have a thing called freedom of speech, and it should not be infringed on just because someone is saying something that you don't like. I'm sorry. Now, I don't feel that you should say something hateful about another group of people. Like, I watched this man say this more hateful things about this Muslim guy, and he was just trying to sell hot dogs or whatever he was selling in New York, 83rd Street, by the way. And I was just like, bro, you work in the government. You are one of our lawmakers. You should know better. Shame on you. I didn't mean to soapbox this thing, but I just had to really say it's been sitting heavy on my heart, and I couldn't go by another day and not really say, like, if you support or want for the safety of civilians in Palestine and Israel or whatever, that doesn't mean you support Hamas. You don't support a terrorist organization because you don't want to see an innocent child caught in a conflict. You know what I mean? I'm not saying you even support IDF or Israel fully just because you don't want Israeli people to be dead or Jews to be dead. Like, we got to get to a point where we are not so far anything. Like, this is why I never attach myself to a political party, ideology, or group. There might be some things that I agree with in that group, but I'm not going to just tether myself to a group of people and their ideals just because maybe I might agree with 1 or 2 of them. No. People are more nuanced than that. It's like we're not that black and white. Like, there might be some people that are pro-gun, but they also pro-choice. So why should I have to label myself a liberal or a conservative just because I pick 1 or 2 things out of both arenas? That doesn't make sense. And if anybody right now asks a question or questions the morale of what is going on in front of their own fucking 2 eyes, that doesn't make them a terrorist. It doesn't make them an anti-Semite. Even when white people might question the financial whatever of BLM and Black Lives Matter, like, just because I'm like, well, wait a minute, what they saying doesn't mean I don't support black people or Black Lives Matter. And like, who does that? Like, y'all just that blind and loyal to a cause, and y'all don't even know. People don't even be seeing all the news. They just be like, all right, I'm gonna just side with it. The minute you start proving them wrong or saying that you don't fully agree or just questioning the idea or the status quo, that's when they start labeling you shit. That's when they start trying to put you in a fucking box. You can't put me in a box because I ain't always going to agree with everything. The minute you say you don't do X, Y, and Z, oh, you got to be A, B, and C. The fuck is wrong with y'all? Like, what happened to humans? Like, I know humans can be a piece of shit mammal species on this earth, but we have the capacity to be great, kind, and move and break barriers. Like, come on. And like, for all y'all fucking Christians out there and fellow Jews to sit up there and say, oh, well, yeah, they need to build a wall. That's actually in the Bible that you're not supposed to be building no walls. You're supposed to tear down walls, tear down division, tear down hostility. I think it's in Ephesians, if I'm not mistaken. So maybe why don't, if y'all do less pointing fingers and actually cracking open the books of worship that you're supposed to be adhering to and the higher powers that you're supposed to be, reveling and worshiping, maybe you'll take a step back and realize, you know what, maybe I'm being a dickhead. That being said, I'm your girl, Insomniac Writer, and this has been another Fucktivity in the news of social media. Get that girl her job back. She just had an opinion. She ain't sat up there and said she hate Jews. She ain't said she want people to die. She wants people to stop dying. And y'all fired her? Come on now. People have said worse. Anyway, I'm out of here, guys. Take care. Be awesome. Be you. But above all else, love yourself. And if you feel that you have something to say, don't be silenced. As long as it's right. Like, be compassionate. Be a human. I'm not saying you got to be a patriot. Have a heart. Do your own research. Read. Look out there and just think about it. Use your noodle. All right, guys. I'm out of here.